Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we're making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
What? Okay, let's try this. What's up? Welcome to the first episode of Cowboys Cut'N Up, where people talk about what's up?
I was just going to apologize to you for interrupting.
You're going to apologize to me for interrupting by interrupting.
That's what I do.
Good job. Well, let's just go ahead. Hey, let's jump into it. I'm J-Stogs. That's Trey Collins, really good guy that's going to help me try and figure out what's going on with the Cowboys, try to interpret. Yeah, I think we all are at this point. And, of course, down there on the bottom is Big Game James.
Started from the bottom,
Bucks.
Now we're here.
There you go, former Bucks and Indianapolis Colt.
Hey, this ain't former NFL player. I don't want any bias coming towards me when I start talking about them boys, okay?
Okay, former professional football player in the National Football League.
There it is. That sounds so professional, J-Stogs. You the best.
Yo, again, welcome. Of course, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, all platforms that are out there, ASAP on Roku. Thank you so much for giving us the platform to talk about them boys. Again, here we try to figure out what's going on with America's team and try and interpret as others try to how to get better. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get started. Let's start with this. State of the Cowboys after the end of the season. Probably one of the most heart-wrenching losses in the past, dare I say, decade or longer. And a lot of reasons have come out, but none have really been solid. Trey, let's start there. San Francisco whoops up on us. Hated rivals, obviously, from the 90s. Actually, from the 80s, sorry. From the 80s, late 70s or 80s. Yeah, 80s, from the catch. Yeah. And we can just go ahead and start from there. Thanks. Yes, Dwight Clark. We don't mention his name in Texas.
Yeah.
In Cowboys Nation. And Dwight Clark, I don't even know if you're alive, but you probably are. But, just know if you're walking down the street, you will get tripped.
Hey, I'm not trying to be funny, but I think Dwight Clark passed away.
He did.
So you'd have to trip his ghost.
I'll do it. We'll get Nancy Kerrigan.
You're wrong, dog.
Wow.
That's what it is. But yeah, so why is that one so hard? Why does that loss resonate so harshly with Cowboys Nation?
I think if we would just got blown out, it would have been like, all right, San Francisco is a better team, right? But I think it was the way the game ended, in the way the last Dak Prescott running with 14 seconds left, and the way the way it ended, and the way they started off slow, and the way that the defense kept us in the game. The defense, after giving up a quick touchdown, the defense actually kept us in the game and holding the field goals and stuff. And Dallas offense, for whatever reason, could never get it going. But yet Dak Prescott does what he does best. He leads us back only to fail us at the end, just like Tony Romo used to do. And I hate saying that because I'm a big Tony Romo guy, but it's always like an interception or the catch. Something goes on against us, like the catch. But I think this one hurts a little bit more because, honestly, because it was wide open for us this year, right? Because we saw San Francisco go in Green Bay, and Green Bay was not a great team like everyone thought they were. They just had an easier schedule. They had an easy – everyone's talking about the NFC East and how their conference or their division was easy, but we got two teams in the North had more losses than the NFC East did last year. So I don't understand why everyone I don't understand. I don't understand why they keep saying we're the least. The Eagles got in, the Cowboys got in, and now and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing. And when we saw the Rams, the Rams were beatable. The 49ers should have beat the Rams. I mean, it's just, I think that's what it was. And past years were all right, Green Bay was a better team, or Tampa Bay last year. But this year, it's it was just so wide open. It was anyone's year. And Dallas finally had a great defense, had the number one ranked offense in the league. And then you have your number one stud, now your number one CeeDee Lamb, only catching one catch for 14 yards. Can't have that. And then Amari Cooper's in a big game no-show a lot of the times as well, too. So I think we're starting to see that. And then as soon as, it's typical Cowboy fashion, we're never going to get blown out in a playoff game. We're always going to lose in heartbreak fashion. And then running with 14 seconds left, I don't say what you want to. That was the stupidest play call in Mike McCarthy's career. Yes. I don't know whose call it was. And that's why I think Mike McCarthy's job is on the line this year. I don't care if he wins it, but he has to at least get to the NFC Championship game this year to save his job. Because there is a guy out there, a former New Orleans Saints guy, who would love the Dallas Cowboy job, who already has a house in Dallas. I'm just saying. So I think
former Cowboys assistant, So, and they call him the quarterback whisperer. So I'm just saying. What say you, Big Game?
I'm trying to come in here and not be biased towards anything that's spoken from you two gentlemen about the Dallas Cowboys, right? But let's just call it what it is. Mike McCarthy was fired and let go in Green Bay for a reason. He showed that his capability of putting the right staff together is still in question. And I'm not trying to be funny. I think he's actually threatened by Dan Quinn, knowing that you have another former head coach on staff that showed that he's able to pull players together and get guys to rally around him. The defensive guys on his team believe in him. Mm-hmm. The decision-making on the offensive side of the ball is what cost the Dallas Cowboys that game in the playoffs. I don't care. I mean, Randy Gregory was offsides a couple times. A couple other things happened. Dak Prescott turned the ball over a couple times that game. And when they tried to make that push, it was too late. And I don't give a damn what level of football you're playing on. You have to know the rules. You cannot spot the ball yourself. It has to be done by an official. And I even heard some Cowboys fans go, they cheated. They know Dak had the ball down in time. That's the problem. Dak had it down in time. The referee did not have it down in time. When it comes to the NFC and why it's talked about, I think it's because some people love to hate the Dallas Cowboys. And then the New York Giants have been cellar dwellers for a while now. Yes. And then the Washington didn't even have a mascot team. Was just who the hell are they? We give up on them. Right. Philly made the playoffs. But I think it was just easy to talk about the NFC East and jump on that conversation train. Because realistically, outside of Tampa and New Orleans being so-so, I mean, I say so-so because they beat Tampa twice, right? The NFC South wasn't great. The North wasn't great, like you said, other than Green Bay. Once you take Green Bay out of it, the most competitive was the NFC West, right? Out of all the NFC teams. So, but I just think it's easy to jump on that anti-Cowboys train and tie that to the whole division as well.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: Dallas Cowboys fans, they are ignorant. I mean, they are. I think if I wasn't one, I would hate us too. I mean, I'm just gonna be straight up honest with ourselves every year. It's our year. We could be 2-11, and we'll still. Well, if we just win 3 games in a row, we got a chance. And
So this is we just want to make sure this is a pro Cowboys show, but I mean the reality is, we have to be honest. And that's why I like this group here is because besides being Cowboys fans, we're football fans, right? And we're able to say, look, here's the deal. At the end of the day, the Cowboys did not do the right things, right? They messed up. There are definite issues there that at the end of the season, it was very, very bitter pill to swallow to see that they could have had a real chance. They're 12-5. Say what you want to. Their schedule was their schedule, but they were 12-5. They did what they had to do. They won their division. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to win your division. You had a high enough rank where you have a home game and you lost your home playoff game. So, and like you said, Trey, not in a blowout. Not in a blowout. So, yeah, it's easier, which is weird to say, but it's easier to take a blowout than it is to win, to lose by such a slim margin.
Yeah, because you expect your $40 million quarterback to be able to game manage and handle situations. You expect your second coming of the best offensive mind in the world in your offensive coordinator to be able to come on, man. Kellen Moore has been painted as the next great
and I don't know
young mind. And he hasn't done anything yet.
Exactly.
It's like self-proclaimed.
Boise State. It's all based on what happened in Boise State and his father, whose reputation.
What did he do at Boise State?
They had several different little plays, and he's like a little wonderkin and whatever. But the reality to me is when you said about Dak Prescott, $40 million quarterback, game management, the question is, has he ever been taught game management? And if you look at his OCs and you look at his head coach from, Sir Clap-A-Lot, Coach Clap-A-Lot, Red Ryder, right, all the way. Yeah, that's okay, guys. It's okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, we fumbled. That's okay. No, it's not. Have some emotion, guy. Yeah, just
J-Stogs, let me ask you a question, man, real quick, and you can get back on your rant about being taught. You're a professional, and you're not a year one professional.
Right.
And you start running 2-minute drill all the way back in. I taught my sons 2-minute drill in Pop Warner football. Now, maybe I was a little bit of an exception because I knew the game, right? But you start working the 2-minute drill in the game of football as basic as you can. So I don't want to hear, was he ever taught clock management? He's a quarterback.
No,
you're expected to learn and know at a certain level more than anybody else. So Dak Prescott knows clock management. It was just
does he
not? He should
because he should, but does he? Your coach, Tony Dungy, has famously said some of the worst techniques are in the professional level. Some of the worst because they have talent. And so they thrive on the talent, and the talent has gotten them through. There's a lot of quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, defensive players, linemen, linebackers. There's receivers right now who don't know the receiver tree. They don't know the tree. And they play professional football. And all they do is they say, you have a go route. Oh, yeah, I mean, like, you don't know what a 9 is. You don't know what an 8 is. You know what a 5 is. Like, you don't know what a 5-yard out is. Like, it's so crazy to me because you look at players, and this is why I was really down on people who were talking about Amari Cooper in big game situations. And okay, yeah, I get that. He does disappear. But it's one of those things where if he runs a 5, they call him, they talk about his route running. Why should we dwell on receivers and their route running? That should be the basics. That's basic.
Jay, can I go
you
back
should
again?
Run a route the way you're supposed. If it's 5 yards and out, run 5 yards and out, not 4 and round it off.
True, but Jay, I'm now a teacher and a coach.
Yes,
and I see some elite quarterbacks and wide receivers at a high school level.
Absolutely,
that's not being taught there. And I'm not trying to be funny, but the coaches don't know the route tree, and they try to come up with patterns and systems. And the thing is, most offenses now, they have combinations that they, so when they call certain plays, it's all combinations on the quarterbacks. The receivers running a certain spots, not necessarily even the precise route to get them to that spot.
Right.
And quarterbacks are being taught to throw it to a spot, but they don't know how to adjust when the defender's in that spot.
Yes.
And so if we really want to get into it, and since we're in the great state of Texas and it's cowboy country,
hey, that's what it is.
We
Cowboy
need
Nation.
to get the fundamentals down all the way down. But that's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
In itself.
Because we can talk about how Dak does not throw receivers open. He waits.
Sure doesn't.
he waits, and when they're open, that's when he throws it. And they have to almost literally stop or be running towards the goal.
Yeah.
That's it. He's not going to throw them open. And to the point, Tony Romo will do that. But Tony Romo's a gunslinger. He'll throw it in. He believes he can throw it anywhere.
Yeah, he'll throw it to me, and I got a different color jersey on.
Well, I will say this. I think this is where the Cowboys messed up in 2006. Yeah, 16, Dak Prescott's first year. I still think they should have brought Tony Romo back in front for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Tony Romo has never had a defense or a run game. Well, he had DeMarco Murray in 2014.
He did.
But Tony Romo never had it. People forget that. He lost to the Denver Broncos when they had Peyton Manning, the best offense in the league, 51-48. I mean, the guy threw 60 times. I mean, this guy had to carry. He literally broke his back for this Dallas Cowboy team. The people don't realize what Tony Romo did. And I still think that's where the Jerry Jones, and they didn't want to mess up anything. Playoffs are a different animal. Even though, yes, Aaron Rodgers got up to a big lead, but I guarantee you, if Tony Romo was there, it wouldn't have been that big of a lead. I guarantee you that they would have kept pace with.
Now, Dak did bring him back, so they had a chance. Unfortunately, he just ran out of time.
Well, in a 4th and 25, a miraculous throw by Aaron. It always happens to the Cowboys for every freaking reason. And then Matt Crosby, cannot make a 50-yard field goal all season long and makes 2 of them, and then whatever.
Yeah.
I got to ask a question. Speaking of Dak Prescott, I don't know if we're going to talk about this or not.
Sure.
That's fine.
There is a quarterback. You talking about game managers. Would you trade Jimmy Garoppolo for Dak Prescott?
Oh, no.
Wow.
You can't at this point.
But Jimmy Garoppolo is shown to have a better playoff record than Dak Prescott right now. And he could be cheaper.
Well, what are you giving up? That's the issue. So if it's an even trade, because his other problem here is that you have Lance, which I think, and I know this is Cowboys, but I think there's some issues going on with Trey Lance that San Francisco is not saying outright.
You're right.
But there are some issues with his play, whatever it may be, but there's some issues there. And I have a guy that he watches every play of the Niners, and he's like, Trey Lance ain't the guy. He's not the guy. So I would say you're going to have to give up something significant, not just Dak, to get him.
Do you take, if you're San Francisco, do you take Dak Prescott? You send Jimmy G and Deebo Samuel to the Cowboys.
I would. If I was 49ers, I would, because Kyle Shanahan's a hell of a quarterback's whisperer, a good quarterback's coach. I mean, that guy, what he did with Jimmy Garoppolo, what he did whenever Jimmy Garoppolo was injured and still being relevant. I mean, he has all the weapons in the world, man. He has right now he has Deebo Sam. I don't know if he's still going to be there or not, but he still has him. He has a running game. He has the defense to carry Dak Prescott. It's a perfect fit for Dak. I mean, I love Dak Prescott. I love everything. I love his leadership. I just
doesn't Dak have that here?
I don't think he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and I hate saying that.
I think he can win it. I think
if he's carried, if he's carried,
Dak can win a Super Bowl.
If Brad Johnson can win one, he can win one.
But see, that's the thing. We don't have a defense with the Ravens.
That defense is not Tampa's defense.
It's not yet, but I think it can be.
Okay.
I think. Look. You have
Dan Quinn, I can see.
It's going to get better. I'm not going to argue that. Dan Quinn's a hell of a defensive coach.
You have the best DC in the league, I believe. You have one of the best linebackers in the league, young linebackers in the league.
You could just say one of the best defensive players. He's almost positionless the way he plays football. I feel you.
He was cornerback.
Yeah, man. He can him up a tight end or a slot receiver as well if he needs to.
You have one of the best DBs in the back with Diggs, right?
So
look, he's a ball hawk.
Diggs earlier this year.
He also gives up a lot of yards.
He does. But my thing is,
you live and die by the sword, though, baby.
You know what I'm saying? It's like this. The takeaways matter. Before Diggs, we did not have takeaways.
You're right.
We didn't. And our best defensive player at that point was Jones, right? Now, he was shut down aside, but he wasn't taking the ball away. So they get the ball down the field because they can run. People can run on us all day, right? But when you have a ball hawk, that changes things, right? You have a defensive line that can, try to do something. You have Tank Lawrence that's back. You have Armstrong that's here. I mean, there's some things that we can do now defensively that can help Dak be carried into the Super Bowl, right? You like Pollard. I still think that offensive line needs help, to get that push. I don't think it's all on Zeke. I think Zeke has lost a step, but I still think he's a 1,000-yard rusher. So I'm just saying.
And see, I think that's where the game was lost too. If you watch all Dallas Cowboys games all year long,
yeah,
that offense thrived when Tony Pollard was in that game.
yes,
That offense was clicking on all the time, and the game just slowed down for Zeke. Like, we got to get Zeke touches because we're paying him $90 million, which was the stupidest signing.
But you're running Zeke up the middle,
exactly,
on a known run play, and you run Pollard on the outside edges, and so he's gonna run Zeke on the outside. Don't run him just on a first down, It got to a point where it was just so predictable. Where first down. It's throw it. Let's run Zeke. Let's run Zeke up the middle. Let's change it up.
Here's an idea. How about just run anybody, anytime, set a play action pass? They live and die by the pass so much to where they could not get anything else going, and they're more than capable.
More than capable.
Everybody's going to look back at the Ezekiel Elliott signing as one of the biggest mistakes that the Cowboys front office made.
Right here.
But it's too late now. It's done. It happened. You've got to move on and get better from it. And Pollard's got to get some touches. And you got to still mix Zeke up in there and take the game out of Dak's hand as far as trying to make him make those hard throws where y'all just said he can't throw people open, right?
You can't have him throwing 55 times a game.
Nope.
But I do think he has to have at least 35 to 45 throws. I think you have to have that.
But that means you get 10 more rushes that might help that offense up.
Well, generally speaking, you have 60 offensive plays, right, a game on average. And so if you average 60 plays of offense a game and 55 of them are pass plays and you're splitting the other 5 to 10 with Pollard and Zeke, what are you doing? That's why I said 35 plays. If we're averaging 60 a game, hey, that opens up everything for you. And that does open up play action. And for whatever reason, they just didn't utilize play action as they could have. So, I think now as we move from that and we're talking about this, did the Cowboys really feel the needs that they needed to this offseason and through the draft? That's the real question. You like I said, you did have some signings here. Of course, they let Amari. They traded him for nothing.
A bag of that. I think they got a bag of Skittles and some jawbreakers for Amari.
Maybe. He's $20 million and you trade him for a 5th round. What are you doing here? You got nothing out of that whole thing. But you signed Gallup, who's coming off of ACL surgery. Major ACL surgery, and he was injured twice last season. So, it's I don't understand that. You signed Dorrance Armstrong, and hopefully he can help anchor that that defense now that Gregory's gone. Personally, and I told you this, Big Game, on our other show, is that I wasn't a big fan of Gregory. I didn't think he was all that great.
Mm-hmm. I think Randy Gregory was solid last year. He had a couple bonehead moments in the year, but for the most part, he helped out when you needed him to, as far as putting pressure on the outside. I still think that when you say as far as Cowboys filling needs, they missed on not taking the center from Iowa.
Yep.
And the Ravens jumped on it.
Yep.
And then they didn't take defensive line. I still think they need interior help on that D-line or another defensive end. They did get some free agent, like you said. But I don't know, man. It's time will only tell. If passing on Linderbaum for letting him go, and you're going with the second year guy at center that played some last year, and you're gonna roll the dice. Yeah, man. I mean, Biada's like, hey man, all I know is week 1 against Tampa with Vita Vea lined up in the zero technique over him. You better slide and bring the guard to help him out a lot, because if not, it's gonna be a long day.
Right, and that's where you have Tyler Smith, that you just drafted. He's going to be probably playing guard.
Right.
And then eventually, Tyron, they'll move him over to tackle, but, you have him at guard. It's man, that line, it's really going to me, is the most influential key to the Cowboys season. If that offensive line doesn't do well, the rest of the squad is out. It's done. Because you can't have Dak can't have the time to throw. Pollard can't have the room to run. Zeke can't have the room to run. So now your defense is now saying it's all on us, which they did last year. And they did well, but now, you got people understanding what you're trying to do. And so it's gonna be tough, man. Just to be really honest with you, we did sign James Washington, from Atlanta, and where did he come from? Washington. What was that? Oh yeah, Miami. No. Where did he come from? Washington came from. I don't know. I don't remember. But we did. We.
But you got it.
We got him.
Yeah, we got him, baby.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man, where how do you improve on this team? And what gets me is Jerry saying this is a Super Bowl squad now, and that's why they didn't make big splashes in free agency. That's why they didn't go for what you would consider big name signings.
How old is Jerry Jones?
Like, 80,000 years old. I don't know.
He may be beginning a little senile. He may have a little early onset, because Jerry Jones hasn't been realistic in a long time, and I think that's part of the problem. Now, the Smith signed the first round draft pick, last name Smith, right?
Yeah, Tyler Smith. Yeah.
I was real hard. We were hard on the Cowboys in that pick. I think he's gonna still end up being a good pro. He'll be a fine pro. It's just the immediate need. When you but you think about it, they let Lyle Collins go. They didn't re-sign him. They had to address offensive line. It's just where amongst the line do you go? And they gave him a lot higher grade than other people did. So it makes you scratch your head. Every scouting department is different throughout the league, Jay and Trey. Everyone has an idea of what they want and what fits their system. The year before, they drafted defensive needs to what Dan Quinn wanted, and a lot of people questioned it, but look how much better the defense was last year. So I think we'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see how it works out. But Jerry has been delusional for a long time to me. And for him to think that this is a Super Bowl ready team already and not have to make a lot of moves, he's fooling himself, or he's going to be really mad at the end of the year if the Cowboys come up short again.
Yeah. And I mean, you signed Van Der Esch to a 1-year deal. I don't get that at all.
All these years, all these 1-year deals for the Cowboys, right? It's a 1-year deal because they don't want to spend money, and you got to do it. Like the Rams showed us how to do it. I know you got to go out and spend money. I don't care if you're going to be over the luxury tax, whatever the case may be. You need to spend money. But for me, I don't think it's a Jerry Jones problem. I think it's Stephen Jones.
You think it's Stephen now?
Well, I think since Jerry's been getting older the last couple of years, he's actually been more calm and more level-headed, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I give you that a little bit.
But Stephen Jones is the one who's pulling like the puppet strings, like, oh, we need to save money here. We need to save money there. You're a $10 billion freaking franchise. You don't need to save any freaking money. Chill the hell out. You know what I mean? But the Cowboys are a Super Bowl contending team if all stays healthy. They lost a lot of key pieces, but at the same time, Do I think they're like the NFC is not that great this year? They can make it to the NFC Championship game. The AFC is stacked. You're going to have 3 Hall of Famers not even make the playoffs this year. Future Hall of Famers not make the playoffs. Yeah, all there is. I mean, Tom Brady lost a lot of his weapons in the offseason. We don't know if Gronk's going to come back. We don't know. They lost Antonio Brown. They don't have the elite robbers. Godwin. He's out for half of the season, maybe even longer, maybe the full season.
They got Russell Gage from Atlanta that can help fill that void just a little bit.
But even if that's you're right.
But you made the best point, Trey. Honestly, man, not trying to take up for if anybody watching for the first time. Yes, Big Game James did play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so I got a little soft spot in my heart for them. But that's neither here nor there on this show. Trey made a great point, whereas the NFC is not great. So any team that's a little bit better than average has a chance to make a run to get to the Super Bowl. And the Dallas Cowboys are really right there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And Jay, I don't normally say stuff like that, but I really do believe it though. Like I believe last year they would win their division and they would struggle and choke late. I said that, and it happened. I said it happened. Now this year, I believe Philly made moves in the NFC East that the Cowboys have to worry about. And we'll see. It's going to be a very interesting matchup to who's now going to be on top of that division because the Giants don't have a chance. The Commanders don't have a chance. It's going to either be Dallas or Philadelphia. Point blank, period.
Well, another thing not going Dallas' Cowboys' way either is that there's not been a repeat division winner since the Eagles did it back, in 2005?
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
I mean, it switches.
That's a little fun fact I didn't know right there.
Yeah. I mean, Trey coming with the heat.
It's the first show, baby. Got to do it.
Hey, let's go. But there has to be something that Dallas can hang their hat on and be able to say, this is the type of team we are. And again, it goes back to, it's an interesting point that you make where it's not so much Jerry as it is Steven. And, if Steven is in charge of the money, which in my opinion he is, and that's where all intents and purposes on the org chart, whoever knows what that even looks like in the Cowboys organization. But, what does that actually look like, and why can't they get their why can't they get their money together?
Because you have contracts like Ezekiel Elliott's that tear up your salary cap.
Well, I mean, if you look at historically what the Cowboys and what they've done with their contracts is they'll offer large sums of money over long years, and then they cut those guys once they're out of their guaranteed money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, look, man, Tony, salute. Good to have you here, man. There has to be a way, well, not even a way. There has to be someone in the organization, and maybe it's Charlotte that finally comes on and says, okay, fellas, you've had your chance. You've done what you've done. Let me show you how this works. Because it's not Jerry and it's not Steven. Get Will McClay in the room a lot more. And then get somebody that can understand the cap, can really understand it to make moves that now we're not hamstring, the whole, for the next 5 years, because we're paying guys $100 million and guaranteeing, the first 3 years.
But Jay, y'all have been doing this for a long time, man. Take it back to Miles Austin, Marion Barber.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some of these same pieces are still in charge in the front office.
Yeah.
So who gets the blame? Who's going to step in and be like, hey, no. Don't do that. Tender him, franchise tag him one more year. I mean, take Payton out of other teams' book where you slap a guy with a franchise tag that's not going to hit your cap as hard for that year to see if they actually pan out.
But we franchise tag Dalton Schultz.
I actually like
and
that.
And y'all don't even know who the franchise tag. That's your fault.
Yes. No, Trey, you can't like that.
Who else are we going to franchise tag? It's only $10 million. I mean, you know what I mean?
Anybody but him. Anybody. What up, sports guy, J-Stogs? Good to see you, man.
But going back to whose fault it, it's really Jerry Jones' still fault. And I'm going to bring – you brought up Will McClay.
Yes.
If Jerry was really serious about winning a Super Bowl playoff, going to the NFC champion, getting another ring before he dies,
speak on it.
He needs to let go of that GM role and bring Will McClay into that GM role.
There it is. Ding, ding, there's the bell.
He needs him to run that. He's proven he has an eye for talent. He has it. But he need to put him in that role to just let Jerry Jones pay the money, whatever the case may be. But let Will McClay, who you respect, Jerry, you're getting old. This has not worked. And how old is my sister? 27 years since my sister's been born. 27 years? Yeah. This has not worked. You got to start looking yourself in the head. I mean,
Will McClay does know talent. He brought this guy here to the Dallas area. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He knows a little bit of talent, man.
About this shirt at the Cowboy Pro Shop. I'm just saying, man, at some point, though, there has to be someone that can – because the contracts, to me, that's what's hurting also this squad, is that we can't keep good players. We overpay for – and just like Tony said, we overpay for level talent, average talent. We overpay for that. Because it's a name.
And there's guys that can help your team, but you can get them at a lot lower price and still go out and get a more elite level athlete. Yeah. Because unlike the Mavs, guys like coming to Dallas to play football. You can bring people in, but you shut the door on yourself because you overpay guys that's already been on your roster that come up to your draft.
But I also think, this is where I defend McCarthy and other coaches in saying you have to bring guys in that fit your system. And Dan Quinn has been able to finagle, talk, whatever he's had to do to say, look, this guy fits my system.
Yeah.
This guy fits my system. You know what I'm saying? You know what? They might smack him week 2. I don't think they will. But here's my issue here. Again, is where we continue to say as Cowboys fans, we look at the schedule and we start picking out that's a win, that's a dub, that's a win, that's a dub.
Already did it.
That's what, and everybody does it. But when the Cowboys fans are, look at those Cowboys fans. Yes, because we have pride in our squad. We think we're going to the Super Bowl every single year.
You do. And no one's mad at you for that.
That's the expectation. Now, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, I get it. You shouldn't have that expectation. If you're a Raiders fan, you shouldn't have that expectation.
Why should their expectations be different than yours?
Are you kidding me? Have you been watching football for the past, ever? Dude, come on, man. No.
I have, but at the same time, they have some of the same struggles that y'all have, but yet your expectations are Super Bowl or bust. And you busted more than you Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Lately.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see no lies there, but I'm still going to tell you, when I look at the players on paper, here's the thing. On paper, they're a great squad. On paper, statistically speaking, because we can talk about Romo. Romo's statistically, while he played, was a top 5 quarterback. While he played, in those years, he's a top 5 quarterback. Never won anything of significance. But he's a top 5.
I'm going to talk about something that Tony just put in the chat and I put up on the screen. And thank you, Tony. We appreciate you chiming in. And this is one thing we didn't talk about at the beginning of the show when we talked about the playoff game debacle was the penalties and the undisciplined nature of this Dallas Cowboys team. And yet that still falls back to Mike McCarthy. And I don't like Jay going into a practice. We can even have a bunch of penalties in practice with Coach Dungy. Or it'll be like, hey, no, start this thing over. We're not going to do this because we're going to play how we practice. I guarantee you Dallas is one of them teams that let their players whoop each other's ass and fight in practice.
Yep.
Yeah, they do.
And it carries over to the games.
Yeah, it's
but
documented.
what was it? Almost 18 penalties that game against San Francisco.
Yes.
And you can't win like that at all. So, hey, Tony, we appreciate you. We might give you the golden hat this week.
Yeah, I like that. The golden.
But is that a Dan Quinn problem or is that a Mike McCarthy problem? Because Dan Quinn seems to get his defense under, like, people listen to him. You know what I mean?
I would say both, but no, I can't. That comes down to the head coach.
Exactly.
Because everything that's done is a reflection of you. When things are good, they might point your defensive coordinator out for putting the right guys on the field on defense. But as soon as it goes bad, everybody talking about Mike McCarthy's an idiot. Yeah. That's what's going to come out. He's got to fix that, but you fix it in practice. You don't let it get to that at the games.
Right.
And if you do, man, Tony Dungy sat Warren Sapp one weekend for a quarter. I mean, no, we're not doing. Hey, you know what? Sit down. You're not starting this week.
And I respect Dungy. Dungy's one of my favorite.
And you're like, okay, TD not playing, dog. Let's go to work. Man.
Why don't we get Mike Singletary in here, man?
No, you don't want Mike Singletary.
No.
You don't want Mike Singletary, Jay.
I like him.
Hey, yeah, you like him for sound bites. Hey, let him stay. Let him stay over at TCA Addison. He's doing a great job over there as head coach at TCA Texas Christian Academy Addison. And
bring him over
the game. Nah, great position coach. But the thing is, when you get a guy like Mike Singletary who played at the level he played and believes and loves the way he does, and he can't get young people to do and perform how he did because they don't have that same love for it. It's hard for that kind of guy to be a head coach in the NFL.
And this is where the problem again comes in, where you have McCarthy, where the game has passed him by. Jones has his balls. I'm sorry, he has his balls in the jar, and he plays with them every other day. Like, I see, I got him.
Ooh, I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Kellen Moore, he's too young. He has no experience. Didn't do well on this level. So I mean,
that's a great point right there.
I like Brian Flores. I love Brian Flores.
Flores would be good, but
he ain't coaching anymore.
Not in the Cowboys.
I'm not trying right now. Jerry wouldn't let his players take a knee. He's not about to bring in a guy that's accused of making other accusations.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. But him or Lovie Smith, Lovie with the right team could be good because we all say that he's a pawn down in Houston anyway. But
he's a DC,
with what's going on down there. But if you read what the thing said, they would need a very strong offensive presence with them. Which if Lovie Smith came in, he would need a great offensive mind, and Kellen Moore's not it.
Yeah. Brian, maybe, but they
Brian Flores is a defensive coach as well. He was a linebackers coach down in up in New England.
Yes.
And coordinator. So
and you know, to your point, you put that up. Yeah, Jones like his yes man, you know, and that's why he in the Big Tuna, you know, had words and that was the last strong coach that Jerry has had.
And Parcells was changing the culture and the narrative around here.
Absolutely.
He was changing it.
Yeah.
And Jerry couldn't get out of his own way to let the man. Parcells is a bad built dude. He couldn't let them hips get out of his way.
If Parcells was the head coach of the 2014 team or 2016 team, Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I can't.
Even if not winning, they can get to the bowl. Yeah,
at least the championship, at least the NFC championship.
Well, this is how sad Jerry Jones is. Like, he's still having beef with Jimmy Johnson, right? But then they squashed it, right? Over the Hall of Fame. He's going to get in the Ring of Honor. Oh, we're going to do it this year. Never happened. He's still holding a grudge over Jimmy Johnson. Like, he needs to let it go. And for my hot take is, if Mike McCarthy squanders another timeout in bad situations again, he's going to get fired the first game. That's my take.
I don't think he gets fired. I think they're just waiting for Sean to take his year, take his time, and I believe he'll be here in the 24 season.
Sean's not just out of his contract by waiting a year.
He's 5 years, ain't he? Like, you got to get conversation for him.
Yeah. New Orleans is going to have to get something for him. Like, why do all Cowboys fans think that's just automatic because he wants to work here? He wants to automatically come back here. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with somebody like Jerry.
That's what I'm thinking too.
But I think the relationship they have they have had, and I think Sean coming in saying, "Look, Jerry, do you want to win or do you want to just stay in mediocrity?" I don't think anyone else can do that. That I've seen that has what he has a Super Bowl away from Dallas. Now that's the thing. That's why McCarthy's here. He has a Super Bowl away from Dallas. That's why he came here. That's the only reason.
Yeah, but Jay, you say they have a good relationship. That's what we see on TV in passing. We don't know what that relationship is really like in a working relationship. What were the words you used?
I didn't say it was good. I said he has had a relationship.
Okay, I apologize.
He's worked here before. He's worked here before, okay? So he knows the culture of Jerry. He knows,
and that's
Jerry.
probably why he might not want to come back to be in the culture.
He might not, but you know what? Again, if he comes in, he's a strong coach who's also a GM who says to him, "Listen, you know me, I know you. You want to win? This is the plan. Bye, Kellen. Go do your thing. This is how we do it. If not, who else? Who else? It probably would be money, and they could. I mean, whatever picks they have. I mean, they've proven that they not really doing anything with those picks anyway. And Jerry believes that they're already where they need to be. It's coaching, so.
Yeah, but Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis had a great relationship in New Orleans. They knew the right way to run a team and a franchise. I mean, I just don't foresee it. Could it happen? Would it happen? Are Cowboys fans dying for it to happen? Maybe. It's by the time we get halfway through by the week 5, we'll know. You know what I'm saying? They might burn Arlington down, y'all. Week 2?
Well, the thing is, you say week 5, Dallas Cowboys schedule's tough at the beginning, but then it's very light at the end. So Dallas Cowboys might have to be patient and see how the second half of the season goes. And I think that's what they're doing. But are we sure it's Sean Payton, though? Because there's a reason Dan Quinn stopped interviewing for head coaching jobs.
True.
I think that too, Trey. I feel you.
Jerry Jones promised him. I think he did. Said just give it to week 3 or week 4. But let Mark McCarthy F this up.
I said 5, but yeah, you're right.
I think it's 2. But the other question then is, okay, do you keep Kellen Moore?
I think you have to this year, just for the offensive reasons.
Well, yeah, for this year, sure. But
we're talking. Year, no. I was hoping someone would hire. I was hoping something stupid would hire.
Cowboys Nation was praying. Go be in New York. That sounds
please
great.
Detroit. Please Miami. Take him.
Y'all
sound like an old Calgon commercial. Calgon, please take him away.
Take him away. Always, man.
We were gonna bus
right
down to Houston right now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's from. Yeah, he'll love it down there in Houston. 4th largest city in the nation. Go for it.
Hey, taking the turkey leg hut, he'll be okay.
You know what I'm saying? Chimichan's, he'll enjoy it, man. I definitely. Cowboys Nation was praying that this guy would get signed somewhere else as an HC or even an OC. Unfortunately, they ran the tape. It was like, we're good. So, wait.
Oh, man.
We'll stick with what we have or we'll look somewhere else. So, I think that would be great. I would love to see Byron Left in here.
Oh,
I would love to see him here. I
think I'd rather see him do something else outside of Tom Brady.
I know, and I think Byron Left was just smart, I think, guys, because, he had a legit offer from Jacksonville, but saw how he was going to be micromanaged and what he was and wasn't going to be able to do. And I don't think Byron Left is going to take any job that's thrown at him and is going to pick the right spot. I do want to see him outside of Tom Brady as well. But I think that he can get things done because he's a player's coach, and I think he'll put the right goons around him. When I say goons, every good face at a franchise has a guy that'll pull you over to the side and MF you to death in the meat room and get in your butt and make you play hard. And I think Byron Leftwich can do that while being, the peace between those people.
Well, who was the quarterback in Tampa Bay before Tom Brady?
Jameis Winston.
Okay.
30 for 30.
30 for 30. 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. Jameis Winston threw for over 5,000 yards that season as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but look at the receiving core he had, though.
Well, I mean, what are we saying here? Do we believe that Dak is better than Jameis? Yes. Wait a minute. Are we saying
this is hard, dude?
Still out.
This is hard for me. I'm a Dak guy, and I always was hard on Jameis Winston.
Really?
But what Sean Payton did with him in New Orleans before, like, dude,
if he wouldn't have got hurt last
man.
year, the Saints may have been able to be a playoff team.
Wait a minute. Are you
now if you're asking me leadership, and accountability for the locker room? Yes, I'll take Dak. But on the play, Jameis Winston's proven he can throw guys open. Dak hasn't.
I'm telling you, I'm asking the question. There's Jameis Winston, 30 for 30, and Dak Prescott, can't get it past there. Can't throw open.
J-Stogs, go back and look at his first 5 years in the NFL. And then you go back and look at Jameis Winston, and you look at Peyton Manning's first 5.
Yeah.
And even Tom. And look at those stats.
Yes.
He's not far off from a lot of great quarterbacks.
I agree.
What he did.
I agree with what you're saying.
You made that point to me on our show one day, right?
Yes.
Don't underestimate the right Jameis Winston off. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not. But what I'm saying is
you're saying it's a chance.
What I'm saying is going back to Byron Leftwich, if this guy, Byron Leftwich, can do that with Jameis Winston, he's here with Dak Prescott. We have to believe that he can make him better, at least, and the squad and the team can be better, at least.
Yeah, okay. I get your point of what you're saying.
I mean, he has Tom Brady, yes,
but he also not gonna happen.
But he also had Fournette, who looked great. There was a resurgence in Fournette, right? And he ran the ball. So I have to believe that if he comes here, that gets better. You run the ball more. You have Pollard, Clement, and Zeke running the ball. You get guys open. You have more motion. There's for your receivers. I mean, there has to be something different. There has to be.
Okay.
And so if we're looking at OCs around the league, they're looking for head coaching or even an OC position, then who is it? If it's not Sean Payton, then who is it?
It has to be a young guy that we don't know about. It has to be a young, new guy.
It may be someone. Trey's right. It may be a young guy that's going to come in and surprise the hell out of us.
We have that guy. His name is Kellen Moore, and he's
no. We saw this.
There's no surprises with Kellen Moore. He will take you down faster than the Titanic.
He's young.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything. I mean, you're talking to a guy who wanted Urban Meyer to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys before Mike McCarthy. And you saw how well that got.
Do me a favor, Trey. Don't ever tell anybody else that again.
I own my mistake. I'm here to say I was wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah, Freddie, that's the way it goes, man. That's the way it is, bro. Yeah, it's another question. O-line, yeah, and that's what we were talking about, man. That O-line has to get better, and that's just at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Well, I want to say something about everyone's so quick, draft grades. I hate doing draft grades. You don't know what this draft's going to turn out. We all thought Ryan Leaf was going to be the number 2, the one that's the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Look what he turned out to be. Same thing with Dan Couch. Same thing with I hate draft grades. I hate draft grades. Everyone's all me and my cousin were talking. He's a big Dallas. He's he texts me, I hate this pick. Why do you hate this pick? Well, he has too many penalties. He's young. Let's see what he does in the NFL first 2 years. I mean, this guy Tyler Smith can block guys. There's a reason why he.
He's nasty. He's got a chip on his shoulder and the attitude that I like offensive linemen to have.
Yes.
Like I said, honestly though, I just thought Linderbaum would have been a better fit at that
center position.
Since Frederick left, you never really replaced that a solid center. I think he's going to be a long-time staple at the center position in the NFL. That's really what it was. And then I also liked the name I can't say. J-Stogs laughs at me. Kalapakis out of Purdue at defensive end. They end up going to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he would have helped shore up a defensive need that you needed as well. Yeah. But they got the guy they wanted. So at the end of the day, I'm not mad. Let's see how it goes. I played the game. I went through the draft process. I hate pre-draft trades by some people that have never put their hand in the dirt or stepped foot on the field to be able to tell other people what they should look for and who's going to draft who. And you never know what people are going to give you once they get to your team and they get in the right position.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why the more I looked at it, I was like, J-Stogs, I'm not going to criticize that draft pick anymore. Yeah. Because, one, it's this young man's dream to play in the league. I'm happy for him. I hope he has a great NFL career. Yeah. I just think that later on, if he doesn't hit on all levels that you want him to hit on, do you regret it? Like, dang, we missed on this dude that's going to wear a gold jacket one day. Yeah. No, we don't know that. It's all hypothetical. It's all thoughts. But, it's one of those things, man.
And then moving on with that draft picks, Sam Williams, I trust Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn saw something like, I can work with this guy. Put him with Marco Parsons. I
feel you on that. I don't think that the defensive picks were wrong. And I think they let it because I think they gave Dan Quinn a lot more say to get the guys that fit his system.
Look what he did last year in the draft. They gave Dan all defense last year in the draft, right? Majority of the part. And look, that defense turned around under Dan Quinn.
And how many people were pissed off that Parsons went first? There were a lot of Cowboys fans mad that Micah Parsons was the first pick of the Dallas Cowboys. And man, you know what? Big ups to both of you. You know what I'm saying? Because you were men in admitting that you were wrong.
I know
because
I'm wrong all the time. I'm married. I'm wrong.
If that's the case, me too.
No, it is definitely me too. That's me too culture in there. But I think it was also the thing that was you could have waited. You could have gotten him probably you could have gotten him in the second round. You could have gotten him, and that was some of the picks. Like you picked really high you jumped up to get a guy that you probably could have gotten in a lower round. It was just a really weird draft because, like I said, there were some people like Sam Williams. You pick him second round, but realistically, you probably could have got him in the third round. He would have been there.
But at the same time, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, do you draft needs or do you draft the best available player to you on your board at that point? Maybe I don't know, dude. That's
I think they went for their board. You're right.
I think they went needs. This looks like
honestly,
needs.
I like the third round pick that they got, the wide receiver, Jalen Tolbert. I love that kid. I've seen him play. He drove over the top. He can one-handed grab. He catches in traffic. Something Amari Cooper was afraid to do a lot of times.
Going back to look at his highlights,
yes,
I think they got a steal with that kid in the third round.
Yeah,
and everything really
coming
at OTAs. At OTAs, I know everyone's hyping up their team and everything, but I've seen highlights in OTAs. I mean, in rookie mini camps, he looks phenomenal. Dak Prescott loves him, but at the same time, Dak Prescott didn't talk bad about anybody on this team. But I like it. I like the pick. I do.
Yeah. And Tolbert is one of those where I think he is going to, to your point, be a surprise if he continues on the track that he's going. It's OTAs though. Let's see once we start getting into August, getting into actual camps and practices and one or two preseason games. Let's see what you do.
Isn't it only 2 preseason games this year?
3. It's down to 3 now.
Is it 3?
It's 3.
2. But I mean, it's so the evaluation really is going to have to come down to it and who you keep and who you may potentially miss on. Like I said, I look at the draft and I see that this looks definitely for needs. You draft 2 linebackers. You have a cornerback, an offensive tackle that's out of North Dakota. But and Jake Ferguson, I'm really curious about him. The tight end from Wisconsin. I'm hoping that he does really well because I
think he's already better than Schultz.
Yeah,
blocking.
I'm joking. Blocking.
Definitely blocking.
Schultz don't block the fly.
But and that's going to be into what type of offense they run. If it's going to be a 2 tight end offense they primarily run out of, or that they play out of, you got to have one guy that can catch and one that can block.
Yeah.
So, if they do that, fine. If they're signing all these receivers, like I said, you have CeeDee Lamb and Gallup and Washington, and now you got Tolbert. that's 4 receivers right there, not to mention all the other ones that are there. So we'll see.
Can we talk, speaking of wide receivers real quick, I don't know how much time we have left, but you need to watch out for TJ Vasher.
That's a name.
TJ Vasher's been like, if you see highlights of him at Texas Tech, this guy is a stud. And he hurt his knee last year, and the Cowboys could have brought him back, but they decided to keep him on the whatever
spot,
the list. I think I'm seeing a lot of good things from camp already from him. I think he's going to be a playmaker for the Dallas Cowboys. Losing Amari Cooper is not a big deal like a lot of people think it is. It's not. This wide receiver core, the only problem I'm going to have is CeeDee Lamb ready to take that. You're talking about the routing tree. CeeDee Lamb did not know that routing. He does not run good routes his first 2 years. He sucked at. I mean, he can catch the ball like anybody else, but at the same time, he cannot run a route to save his life. I can't count how many he ran the wrong route and Dak Prescott expecting to be somewhere else. But I'm telling you, watch TJ Vasher. This guy, I watch a lot of Big 12 football. I'm a Texas guy. I saw him live in person when I went to see Texas play. So this guy's a stud, and I think he's going to hold him in Tolbert. I think they're going to carry the load till Gallup, because it's going to take a whole year. Gallup's going to come back, but he's still not going to be able to Gallup until next year, because we all know ACL's usually about a year. Ask Cooper from the Rams how long it takes to make it fully heal from an ACL tear.
Vasher is good. I remember him in college. Now that you say that name,
and CD, CD being the one now, he's playing, in that that's a Z. He normally will play out of the slot. So now if he's moving outside of the hash, that definitely changes what you do and how you play. And a lot of what he did and getting down the field and the catches were playing on the slot. So I don't know. I agree with you. Is he a number one? Is he a true number one option? Is he the number one receiver?
Find out this year. Well, if anything told us from this offseason, he's going to have to show out to get that bag. I mean, it's a wide receiver league right now. Like, they're getting paid.
They are getting paid.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, man.
But I think also, too, when we look at the college landscape, now you have more receivers that can do a lot more. So if they say, you know what, we'll wait. We're going to see what's going to happen in college this year. And if you're not up to par, we'll get someone else. We'll just get someone else. Zeke will be out after this year. I'm fairly sure about that.
Yeah, well, they said the other day on, I believe it was on NFL whatever that comes on ESPN. So I think to try not to get too much dead cap, they have to keep Ezekiel Elliott for this season, and then they would take it down to about half of what the dead cap's going to be, and they can let him go. The contract is too big. It's too much for them to eat right now. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm praying that Ezekiel Elliott has a decent year, and maybe I can trade that away, and someone will be dumb enough to take that contract.
Well, can we change something up with Ezekiel Elliott this year? He never plays in the preseason games. In the first week, 2-3 weeks, he's not in game shape. Will we please play a preseason game, for God's sake?
Well, that comes to Zeke being a prima donna. He too worried about looking like a Ewok with a halter top on. And he need to, they need. He need to just say, you gotta go to the coach and be like, "Hey, dog, put me in the game. I want to get better."
I can't believe that. He from everything I've seen and read, he's a gamer. So it's like, look,
he played with the hat on last year.
I'm saying, you put the hat on, he's ready to go. Put him in. I agree with you. After about like the second week, you start to see, okay, he's getting the rhythm. His body is starting to, change back to or get into game shape. Whereas, preseason, he's sitting over there in his Ewok and, the tank top and eating seeds. And
he can't do the Cabo Wabo no more, man.
Just go for like a weekend. Don't do the whole 3 weeks.
He said he was training.
No, but we saw how fat he was when he came back.
I train a lot of places. You know where I train?
The refrigerator?
Dinner table.
I train at Buffalo Wild Wings, at Twin Peaks. This right here, man, I'm telling you, is
that how you got the name Buff Nerd from doing all those curls?
Let's go.
I like.
That's it, man. Let's go.
All right.
There's a lot of this too. I will crush your thumbs. Yo, that's it, huh? I think that's about it, man. Yo.
Yeah, not a bad
time
first
has
show.
flown by, man. Thank you so much.
Go
ahead, Trey.
I just want to say, I know we've been saying it, but that shooting in Uvalde, Texas was a little close to home for me. And
yes,
having a 4-year-old daughter going to daycare, it just really, and I knew people in Uvalde and everything like that. So I know we're tired of this. Sorry and condolences. And I'm with Steve Kerr. If y'all listen to Steve Kerr yesterday, he was totally right. We need to do something about gun. We need to do something. I don't know what it is, but we need to put our political differences aside. We need to do something. Enough is enough. 19 children are not going to be able to see their future, see their graduation, go to the prom, go watch their first football game, go do all this stuff. We got to do something. I'm pro Second Amendment, but at the same time, we got to do something. It's enough's enough. I mean, shooting. I mean, I think we've already had 200 mass shootings this year alone, and we haven't had 200 days yet. So my heart and my prayers go out to everyone in Uvalde. We're thinking about y'all. If y'all need anything, hit me up. Twitter, Facebook, whatever. I'm here for y'all. Whole city of Kerrville's here for y'all. Whole state of Texas is here for y'all.
For sure.
We're praying for y'all. Just remember. God bless y'all, man, because I can imagine what's going through y'all's mind right now.
Yeah,
man,
for sure,
Trey,
for
you said all that needs to be said on that, and I feel the same way. My heart and prayers go out to all the families and everybody involved in this horrific situation. And we have to put differences aside and think about the people it affects in the long run. And these are kids that were the future of our country that never going to get a chance to be those leaders that they may have been had they had a chance to live their lives.
Yep, absolutely. Yo, so prayers, concerns, but action. That's what we need. Prayers, concerns, condolences, and action. All of those. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm J-Stogs. That's Trey Collins. That's Big Game James. Cowboys Cut'N Up. Wednesdays, 8 o'clock. Make sure you check us out. We're going to be here. We're going to, even if the season is off, we're not. We're coming back at you. Cowboys Nation, let's go. We out.
That was fun.